What do you do, Black Rose Nation? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tata Lekala. For those of you who are here for the first time, thank you so much to my returning subscribers, for doing the things. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And do the things that need to be done. Without any further ado, I thought I should get on with this video because I have been trying to film it for the past week, if not 2 weeks. As you've seen on the title of the video, I am going to talk about losing my mom and how I became depressed 6 years later, and also my journey of depression, self-harm, and actually how I managed to recover from that, or let me say managed to deal with myself in situations where I felt down and not okay and stuff like that. So I really hope some people will learn a few things from my video and actually maybe get ways of how they can deal with themselves when they feel like maybe your life is not worth living, or stuff like that. So I really hope you guys will learn so much from this video, and I will get right to it. So I lost my mom in 2011. And then I remember the day when she passed on, the next day I had an interview at the high school that I went to. So they used to hold interviews before you are actually admitted to the high school, right? So the next day I had an interview, and I went to the interview. I remember I went with my friend and her dad. We went to the interview, we killed the interview, we made it to the school. So come next day, okay, let me not jump stories. So my mom passed on a Tuesday. I went to the interview on a Wednesday. So on the Thursday and Friday, I went to school. It was normal for me. I thought, no, my mom is still maybe alive, still at the hospital. I'm gonna see her, she's gonna come back. It hadn't clicked to me that she was gone, So I went to school the whole week. It was just a normal week for me. My dad would come pick me up every day after school, and for me it hadn't clicked yet. So come Friday, we went to the mortuary to pay our last respects. No, it was actually on the Saturday. On the Saturday we went to the mortuary to pay our last respects, and that is where it hit me, or wow, my mom is actually no more. I was just 13, mind you, I was in grade 7. And I just lost my mom, someone who I spent so much time with, because I used to stay with my mom and dad. Both my sisters were in school. One was in boarding school. The other one was in varsity. So I used to stay with my parents, and I spent so much time with my mom. But I think at that time, it didn't really affect me that much. It didn't really affect me that much because my dad was so supportive. My dad was always trying to make sure that me and my sisters are on the right track and dealing with our grief in a more calm way, and in a more he gave us that safe space to grieve for our mom and for us to feel whatever we were feeling at that time. And I think I pushed my feelings aside, and I just carried on with my life. And so I went to high school, I went to boarding school. When I got there, obviously my friends that I met there most of them always spoke about their mothers and how loving and caring their mothers are, how much they love their mothers. They would be on calls with their mothers, and I didn't have that. So it started to affect me when I got to high school. It started to affect me. But honestly, my high school years were the most amazing years of my life. Like those 5 years were so amazing for me. I achieved so much in my life. I achieved great things in my life. I was doing so great in life. And then post-matric, moved to Cape Town, moved to Stellenbosch, and that was when my whole world just shattered. And I think that is where I got my reality check that, wow, I actually don't have a mother, and it affected me to a point where I dipped into a depression. So going through therapy sessions and going to psychologists and seeking the help that I was seeking, they came to a realization that I didn't deal with my grief at that time. Like 6 years ago, I didn't deal with my grief, and it was coming back to haunt me in 2017. I was like, those were the most like, the toughest years of my life, you know what I mean? Went through first year. It was really hard for me. Like back in high school, I used to I excelled in everything I do, but as soon as I dipped into my depression, I started losing interest in a lot of stuff that I loved to do. I mean, I stopped modeling, I stopped playing netball. I used to play netball for the province Limpopo in grade 12. So in first year, I made it to the varsity team. I think I practiced for a month or so, and that was when I dipped into a depression. It was in April 2017 when I started self-harming. So I was self-mutilating because, I don't know, it came to a point where inflicting pain on myself made me feel, better about my situation. It came to a point where I would like harm myself so much. I wasn't even I cut myself so much. I couldn't stop bleeding. I remember I was in my room at res. I couldn't stop bleeding, and I was just like so scared. What is going on? Because I used to like self-harm, and I would bleed and get over it. Like, me mutilating myself made me like forget about the emotional struggle that I was going through. And I'm that one person who doesn't like talking about things that I go through, in a group of friends, there's always that one friend who actually like is the one that people go to for advice whenever they're going through some stuff in their life. So I was that friend. I was that friend who always gave advices. I was that friend who is considered the strong friend. So I couldn't really open up about what I'm going through to any of my friends. So I went through my depression all alone, and that was in my first year. 1 April 2017, I started self-harming. So it went on until even after winter. It was summer, I remember. Stellenbosch weathers are extreme. Like in summer, it is hot. Like it is hot. When it is hot, it is hot. And when it is cold, it is cold. So it was like so hot. It was so hot. And here I was wearing long sleeves because I was hiding, my scars. But a friend of mine one day realized that I am self-harming, and she tried to talk to me about it, but I wasn't really open about my situation, and it actually affected many areas of my life. I wasn't performing the way I used to perform. My relationships were not going the way they used to go. Like everything was just so shattered, and I felt like my world was coming like down to just like, man, I was going through a lot, and I couldn't even talk about it to anyone, you know what I mean? So yeah, December 2017, I decided to open up to my dad, about what I was going through. And he was very supportive, with this journey that I was going through, right? So I spoke to him, and he understood that I was going through whatever I was going through, and he didn't even judge me about that. So 2018, that was when, wow guys, my depression, it shot out the roof. Like I was even suicidal as well. Towards the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, I was just a wreck. I remember I used to pop pills, guys. My dad was someone who had a lot of medication in his room, so I would take his medication, pop pills like crazy. I would pop pills like crazy. And when I look back, I realize how God, saved my life. And I think me speaking about my experiences and my journey, I think someone out there will learn something about it, because I was popping pills and I would then fall asleep, right? I'd pop pills, fall asleep, like nothing would happen to me, guys. Like nothing would happen. Here I am trying to end my life because I feel like my life is not worth living. And I just fall asleep, wake up in the AMs, like I would wake up 2, 3 a.m. Everybody in the house is sleeping. And I would wake up sick. Like I would wake up so sick. I was vomiting. I was dizzy. I had a headache. Like it would happen all the time when I tried to end my life. So it came to a point where I decided, personally, that this is not worth it. This is not worth it. I have tried to end my life so many times and haven't succeeded in that. So that means, there is a purpose, like an ultimate purpose that I need to fulfill, which is why my life is not ending. You know what I mean? So I took it upon myself to self-introspect. I took it upon myself to actually accept that my mom is no more and deal with that grief. I opened up myself to actually feel that pain, feel that loneliness, feel that vulnerability, and just for me to feel sad whenever I wanted to feel sad. So, and after going through those hard times of my life where I felt my life was not worth living, I ultimately, sat myself down, self-introspected, and told myself, Matilda, Tato, this is not the way to go, and okay. So I took it upon myself, to self-introspect, and I realized that me allowing so much pain and so much trauma and so much torture, to my mind actually was the thing that was leading to me thinking my life is not worth living. My life is not, I don't deserve to be on earth. And I went through a self-love journey. I realized I didn't love myself enough. That is why I allowed so much pain to consume me. And I went through a self-love journey where I dissected parts of myself, where I learned to accept every little thing about me that I felt wasn't okay or wasn't. Yes, so I dissected parts of myself that I felt wasn't perfect, and I learned to love myself irrespective of what I thought I lacked. right? So I accepted, with time, that my mom is no more, and I dealt with all that pain, and I faced it, because I feel like all those years I was running away from the fact that there is a shortage in my life. I ran away from that fact and tried to just move away from it. So I would advise every person who is going through a loss, be it you are going through a breakup, or you are going through you lost someone that you love, learn to face what you're going through, and let it go, deal with it. Don't run away from it.